interactions and use simple psychology tricks effectively. Here are 19 easy psychology tips that really work. While there are fancy books on using fancy psychology to get what you want, there are also simple psychological tricks that work. When you start a request with "could you," it can sometimes sound like you're asking hypothetically rather than making a direct request. For example, if you say, "Could you call the neighbors?" The other person might interpret it as, "Is it possible for you to call the neighbors?" rather than as a direct request for them to do it. So, to ensure your request is understood as a real one and not just a theoretical question, it's better to phrase it more directly. Instead of saying, "Could you call the neighbors?" you can say, "Please call the neighbors." This way, it's clearer that you're making a specific request, and the other person is more likely to understand and fulfill it. Understanding the basics of psychology can help you communicate more effectively. When you stare at the middle of someone's forehead during a conversation, it can make them feel uncomfortable. This is because eye contact is a natural part of human interaction, and when someone avoids looking directly into your eyes and instead focuses on your forehead, it can give the impression that they're scrutinizing you or being insincere. So, while there may be situations where you want to make someone feel uncomfortable, though it's generally not recommended, staring at the middle of their forehead during a conversation is one way to potentially achieve that effect. However, it's important to consider the impact this might have on the other person and to use such psychological tricks that actually work ethically and responsibly. When someone avoids answering a question, they might be trying to hide something or feel uncomfortable discussing the topic. In such situations, making a deliberate pause in the conversation while maintaining eye contact can create a sense of tension and discomfort for the other person. This silence and sustained eye contact can make them feel like you're expecting an answer or that you already know something they're not saying. Feeling this pressure, the person may feel compelled to continue talking in an attempt to fill the silence or alleviate the discomfort. Moreover, the combination of silence and eye contact can also make the person feel like you already know the truth, even if they were initially lying or withholding information. This belief may lead them to open up further or even confess the truth, assuming that you are already aware of the real facts. So, understanding basic psychological facts can help you utilize effective communication strategies, such as leveraging the psychological impact of silence and sustained eye contact to elicit more information or encourage truth-telling in conversation. However, it's essential to use this tactic with caution and respect for the other person's feelings. Pressuring someone to talk or confess through silence and eye contact can be manipulative and may damage trust in the relationship. Therefore, it's crucial to consider the context and the potential impact before employing such techniques in conversation. If you're new at work or school and want someone to like you, just ask them to explain something to you. It doesn't matter if you already know the answer. This will make them feel good and make them like you more. When you're asking a question and you want the other person to say yes, try nodding slightly as you ask. This subtle nodding technique is often used by restaurant employees to encourage customers to order more food. It's a simple but effective way to influence people's responses. When someone is focused on something, like a serious phone call, you can reach out and take something from their hand without them even noticing. They might forget about it later. And the same trick works in reverse, too. You can give them something while talking, and they won't notice. It's handy for tidying up or moving house. This psychology hack exploits people's focus on a task by subtly taking or giving items without their awareness, which can be useful for tasks like cleaning up or moving house. If you want someone to do something for you, just casually mention how they probably couldn't do it. People often feel compelled to prove others wrong about their abilities, so they'll likely try hard to do what you ask. You can also start by making a small or unusual request before asking for the main thing you want. This builds a connection, making them less likely to say no. When you nod slightly while talking to someone, it subtly draws their attention to what you're saying. It's like a nonverbal cue that signals to them that what you're saying is important or worth listening to. Even though they might not consciously realize it, they'll find themselves more engaged in the conversation and more attentive to your words. It's a simple but effective way to make your message stick. If you want better conditions in a negotiation, act a little disappointed with the offer, even if you like it. This tactic can work wonders, especially with high prices or low salaries. When your alarm goes off, sit up in bed and make two fists like you've just scored a goal in soccer. It might seem strange, but it helps you wake up feeling refreshed. Give it a try and let us know in the comments if it worked for you. If you're always worried about forgetting to do things like lock the door or turn off the iron, try saying a silly phrase when you do them. It could be something different each time, like green rabbit for turning off the iron or oppressive crab for locking the door. When you start doubting whether you did it, remembering the weird phrase will reassure you and help you relax. If someone tries to start an argument or drama with you, respond with something nice instead. Using the "kill them with kindness" trick can stop them in their tracks. Another option is to stay calm and silent, which can be irritating to the other person. But if you want to avoid an argument with a friend or partner, try to see things from their perspective. It might help you understand if there's something you're missing in their objections. If you have a lazy person on your team who slows things down, don't just tell them to do a task. Instead, say, "Start with this." It makes the work seem easier because they're only starting with something small. Once they've done that, encourage them with, "Very good, now continue with this," until they finish what you wanted them to do. If you have to speak in public, don't forget to bring a bottle of water. It helps with dry mouth and gives you a chance to pause and remember your speech. If you're nervous, admit it to the audience. It lightens the mood, calms your nerves, and makes the audience more sympathetic. If someone keeps staring at you on the subway, just look at their shoes. Keep looking, and it'll make them uncomfortable. If you always seem worried when you see someone you know, eventually they'll start feeling worried too whenever they see you. So use that info however you want. If someone did something wrong but you don't want to accuse them directly, change how you say it. Instead of saying, "You didn't close the window," say, "The window was left open all night." They'll learn from the mistake without feeling blamed. If you didn't sleep well, tell yourself you did. It might sound strange, but it works. Scientists found that if you truly believe you're well rested, even if you're not, your brain works better. People remember things better at the beginning and end of the day. So, for job interviews, choose a time at the start or end of the workday. This makes it more likely that the employer will remember you compared to other candidates. Know any other tricks that work? Share your experiences in the comments below.